back to a closer look. Gender-based violence is becoming a widespread epidemic in Papua New Guinea, highlighting a demand to enhance efforts towards addressing such issues. As the state's entity to coordinate and support both public and private organizations across PNG in the fight against GBV, the National Gender-Based Violence Secretariat under the Department for Community Development and Religion are in the final stages of the review of the National GBV Secretariat 2016 to 2025.
The formal review of Papua New Guinea's national strategy to prevent and respond to gender-based violence 2016 to 2025 was launched last year. An estimated 1.4 million women in Papua New Guinea experience violence every year, equivalent to 1 every 30 seconds, while less than 2% of the perpetrators are prosecuted. According to POSPACOP, the levels of gender-based violence in our country are repugnant and horrifying. He called this a catastrophic waste of human life and human potential. The World Bank estimates that GBV could cost the country billions of kina annually, amounting to as much as 2% of the national GDP, and this does not include the strain on healthcare, law and justice, and long-term social impacts, a reality that the NCD governor said until our women and children are unshackled from the fear of gender-based violence, our country will remain in an age of darkness. The first national GBV strategy was launched in 2016 to addressing rising violence against women, girls and vulnerable genders, including young boys. However, according to Minister for Community Development, Religion and Youth, Jason Peter, the rates and severity of violence have only escalated and the rates of prosecution declined. The GBV National Strategy Review took place on Friday, the 14th of March. During the occasion, the GBV Secretariat provided an update and facilitated dialogue with stakeholders such as Gender Equality Parliamentary Committee, United Nations Women, and others. Director for National GBV Secretariat, Diane Kambane, chaired the meeting. She commended current ongoing efforts in community level to address this ongoing issue and encouraged the Secretariat identifies and support such accordingly.
Through it. He was a volunteer with Voice for Change, and they have that community bylaws that every community member has signed up and said, this is what we want in our community, so these are the rules that we'll abide by, and we sign it. And so that was really just adding on to what Lulupti said, that powerful with supporting these homegrown initiatives. And we didn't travel to Bougainville, but a lot of you are aware of Sister Lorraine and the work she's doing with rehabilitating men, and now it's become quite a success in Bougainville that the magistrates are using that as you can go callable, so you can go and be a part of this program. So, those homegrown initiatives that I think we, even at the Secretariat, need to just continue to fund and support so that it comes. And I do think change only comes from when it's owned and developed at that local level, because, that's the only way I think change can really happen.
Representative from the United Nations Women, Volupti Collis, said strengthening of legal frameworks and policies related to GBV will be effective to prevent and respond to GBV in the country.
We have surveys now, questionnaires from every single province, and that was one of the questions that was asked. This is a summary table of the results from that questionnaire, but we actually have much more detail behind it. Also, in the listening tour, every province was asked a common set of questions. The provincial administration was asked a common set of questions. That was facilitated by Delciana Samari Brash, and the questions were very specific, exactly about things like, do you have a coordinating committee? Are you meeting, when is the last time that you met? Who sits on the committee? So there was a very comprehensive set of questions that were gone through methodically. The reason why it's not classified as a failed state is because of the resilience of the people. And that is what we heard again and again and again. That the people, as we had said, it makes me emotional to to talk about it, because the people that we met were at the core.
NCD Governor and Chairman of Parliamentary Committee for GBV, Paul Spakop, said survey and data collected by the GBV Secretariat and UN Women must also capture the positive side of GBV sector and not focusing only on the negative.
So we are putting all the effort to secure safety in the public space, but now we're challenged with the case of Lina and what's her name? Grace. We are still challenged by what happens in the private space, and which we have limited control over, but it's the attitude and behavior of men that we need to target. Lack of respect, lack of appreciation, lack of recognition that women and girls in our country are human beings, they have rights, they need also the protection of the law and protection of their partners as well. So these are the challenges that I'm probably getting diverted away, but I think these positive stories must be captured in your survey so that we can build upon those positive stories. I know they are very resilient people in the front line and everywhere in PNG, but their stories still need to be captured so we are not drowned by the negative, pessimistic, or people might be overwhelmed by the negative story. Where is the positive story that we can celebrate and build upon? I think this is what we are trying to get you to capture as well.
According to a survey leading up to the review, in comparison to 2020, there have been some important improvements. 20 provinces have current GBV strategies and 8 are PEC approved. 20 provinces have GBV focal points and 12 provinces including GBV in their budgets, bringing the total of all provincial GBV budgets to 8,845,000 per annum. The 10-year strategy expires this year, and the regional consultations will assist in making more relevant a new one for the country in the next 10 years.
After this break, we will take a look at late Sir Julius Jent's customary clearance ceremony. Stay with us.